I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review. This is a request from Eric, a PayPal request. If you want to request pretty much any other type of stuff, reviews, re-reviews, topics, reactions, you send the request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, the film for the day is The Pink Panther Strikes Again. Came out around 1976. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not the most knowledgeable on the Pink Panther, because I think this is like the fourth or fifth film, so I don't know if I need to see the other ones before this. I mean, I could still understand the plot, what was going on. The Pink Panther with Peter Sellers, I believe I gave one of those a shot a long time ago when I was a kid. And I think I just gave up on it because as a kid, bear with me, as a kid I thought it was going to be about the actual cartoon character of the Pink Panther. And then as a kid I'm watching it and I'm going, okay, cool, is this cartoon Pink Panther? It wasn't this one, I forget which one it was. And then it turned into, wait, it's live action? Who's this guy? Meaning Peter Sellers, because I didn't know who the hell Peter Sellers was. Wait a minute, this isn't a cartoon? Wait a minute. So then as a kid, I got pissed. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not watching any more movies. I thought it was the Pink Panther cartoon. Where's the Pink Panther? I think years later, for some reason, I saw Steve Martin's The Pink Panther and thought that was fucking dog shit. And then I just said, I'm not watching any more of these Pink Panther films. But that wasn't really fair, because the Peter Sellers, like this film, it's fun for what it is. Like Peter Sellers was a gifted performer, because I would later see him in Doctor Strangelove, and I really enjoyed that movie. He's definitely a guy that had, even though here I believe he was some kind of problem, so that there was stand-ins involved, but a lot of stuff I saw was actually him in his face. His demeanor, the way he played the role, you could easily get some chuckles and laughs out of it. You know, the plots are crazy and quirky. Like here, there's this Chief Inspector played by Herbert Lom, which I guess in the previous film, he got so bugged by Inspector Clouseau here, and he went crazy and went to a fucking asylum. So at the beginning of this film, he's getting ready to go out. He seems perfectly fine. Inspector Clouseau, played by Peter Sellers, comes out, say, hey, you're going to be fine. But then makes him go crazy again. He keeps knocking him into the water accidentally. Even to the point where Herbert Lom walks out. He accidentally steps on a rake. Does the Sideshow Bob thing that they Sideshow Bob in The Simpsons. And then he's gone crazy again, ready to kill Clouseau and that's where you get this cartoon of the Pink Panther itself, and this human character is supposed to be Clouseau. I thought this was rather clever because they're in a movie theater and it has homages to Hitchcock, Batman, Teen Kong, Sound of Music, Sin in the Rain. Some nice homages in this cartoon credit intro. Although the title doesn't really make sense because it says the Pink Panther Strikes Again. What Pink Panther? Like, there's nothing about a Pink Panther diamond. There's nothing Pink Panther about it other than... So, truthfully, the title makes no sense at all. It's just, well, people not going to know unless they have Pink Panther in the title. I'm like, well, you know, they got a point. Although I guess, technically, Dirty Harry did that. Man Force, the Deadpool. Yeah, it's just a little nitpick thing, because it's just weird. Like, again, the title, like, what does the title really infer with the story being told, but whatever. I will admit, overall, I did like the film. You know, I didn't love it. It's not like one of my favorites or anything, but I liked it for what it was. Peter Sellers, I enjoyed his performance. Herbert Lom as the villain, his crazed state because of Clouseau. It got some chuckles out of me, some clever gags. Near the beginning of the film, this guy named Kato has this job that he's supposed to keep Peter Sellers' character on his toes. So then they're fighting each other in his room, and they're fighting with nunchucks. And there's some chuckles to be had because it's either speeding up the camera or slow-mo. Like, he hits Kato with nunchucks, and in slow-mo accidentally hits the TV, and then it explodes all in slow-mo. It's like, that got a laugh out of me. It's definitely a comedy of a different time. Because nowadays it's just, sadly with comedies nowadays it's just raunch. Hey, some movies can be funny with raunch. A lot of movies cannot. So you don't have a lot of movies like this, which is pretty clean humor, as more physical gags like this whole fight scene, which is pretty fun. Or after the fight, he tries to show Kato, and no, not Kato from Green Hornet, this disguise with this hump, but then it gets bigger and bigger, so he's floating out of the apartment while he's on the phone. He doesn't realize it. But luckily for him, he did that just when the bad guy, Herbert Lom, had to put a bomb in and blew up the apartment. Pretty decent explosion. Because back then they had to do it real. Nowadays it'd probably be some shitty CGI. And Inspector Clouseau, if you don't even know who that is, he's a inspector, as the title suggests, who bumbles and fumbles around, and he speaks with a French accent. I guess it's French. I don't know what the fuck accent would be. Makes a lot of mistakes. Actually bumps into this gun cabinet where the gun falls and it shoots someone in the ass. Another funny scene, just what happens is, and this is what I'm talking about, the quirky aspect of the story. Herbert Lom gets this professor and his daughter to create this super weapon, this doomsday machine that makes the UN building disintegrate. And it disintegrates where, like, level by level, just disappears. And he warns the world. And the only thing he wants, he doesn't want money, he doesn't want power, he just wants Clouseau dead. Like, literally, I want you to kill Clouseau. If you don't kill Clouseau, I'm going to fire this up your ass. That's pretty much what he says. So I thought that made it a bit interesting, the demands of the villain. Because it's typical, it'd be, you know, $1 million or $1 billion, whatever. But the fact that he's only doing this just to get this one guy killed, that's how crazy. I mean, just, it upped the quirky fun of the story. And then it led to this scene at Oktoberfest where these assassins just keep killing each other when they're trying to kill Clouseau. Granted, I was a bit confused because it seems like at times they're purposely killing the other assassin. So then, someone's going to have to explain this to me. Did I miss something? Are they purposely killing the other assassin because they want to be the ones to kill Clouseau? Or was it all really supposed to be everyone's just doing it accidentally? It seems like there's times where they're purposely going for the other assassin and not for Clouseau at all. Like, did I miss something like, oh, there's a reward if you're the one who kills Clouseau? I would assume that. And that might have been something I missed. Just like one's behind him, another has like a knife on his foot, and he purposely kills the assassin that's in front of him. See, if it was accidental, I thought it'd be the guy moves in right when the guy kicks. Oh shit, accidentally did that. Clouseau walks right out of the way before someone does a which kills another assassin. See, I think if it did it that way, I think it'd be even funnier. But, so I like the idea behind the scene. Well, one part that does work is when he goes to the restroom. He drops this TP. He reaches down to get it. As he reaches down, there's an assassin in the other two stalls. As he goes down, they both shoot each other, and you see the ladies go under the stalls. See, that's an accidental. That I thought was the funniest bit in the whole scene. The others, again, I got confused. Like, are they purposely trying to kill the other assassin? Because if it's all accidental, I think a bit of the timing could have been worked better. What do I know about comedy? Not much. So, but it was still a fun scene. But again, someone who's more of an expert, you like Eric, who requested this, you let me know. Omar Sharif. Some people might not know who that is. Look him up. He's a pretty decent actor. He's an assassin, but he kills the wrong Clouseau. And then there's this woman that's in bed, played by Leslie Ann Down. And she thinks he's Clouseau, and he goes have sex with her. I don't know what her goal was, because it's assumed that she's an assassin, but when they have sex, she doesn't try to kill Omar Sharif. She doesn't kill Omar Sharif at all. So it made me go, well, what was her whole deal? As an assassin, she really bad at her job. Now, I looked it up info. Apparently, Omar Sharif, that was a character that they wanted James Bond to be that character. So they wanted either Sean Connery or Roger Moore to be like a fun version of their James Bond, like a James Bond type had been hired to do this. But neither of them wanted to do it, so they said, fuck it, we're not going with that idea. That would have been interesting. But also, it wouldn't be much for the person to do. Just shoot someone who's the wrong person, be in bed with a beautiful woman, and leave. The third act of the film is pretty much he finds out where the Doomsday Machine is at this castle, and he's trying to get in. So all these different ways, either this boat, but the drawbridge closes down on him, so it fucks up him in his boat. Tries to catapult, that doesn't work. Ultimately goes undercover as a dentist. They both get doused with nitrous oxide, so laugh their ass off. Ultimately, he's able to save the day. Saves the day. Catapults onto the Doomsday Machine. Disintegrates the rest of the castle and Herbert Lom. Which I find weird because the guy is disintegrated, but apparently he's in the sequels. And there's no explanation as to why he's alive. So, wait a minute, this Herbert Lom, who was this character in previous films, he's in the next films, because they made quite a few movies, and he's just alive. I'm like, I just saw him get disintegrated, but I guess you're not supposed to take anything, whatever, because they're comedies, but it's like, a little bit of continuity would be appreciated. Kind of makes the whole story pointless if, well, it's not pointless, he saves the day, but Herbert Lom gets disintegrated, but then he's just back in the next movie. I don't know, just weird to me. So as a film, it was okay. It's not something that makes me want to, oh, I gotta go seek out the other movies. Unless they're requests, but I mean, on my own reconnaissance. But at the very least, it did showcase that Peter Sellers was a talented guy, talented individual. And again, it had some fun dads. Part of me, like, I thought the funniest bit was early on when him and his buddy are fighting each other in slow-mo in his apartment. I don't think the film got as funny after that, but it was still, a decent time waster at least. I said Herbert Lom is having fun as the villain. Again, the reason he's doing all this, not for money or power, but just for this one thing, I thought that was kind of, again, a different idea. The very end, I like the little snippets of the cartoon Pink Panther. Like at the end, you have the cartoon Clouseau being chased by the Pink Panther, who's like Jaws. They do a nod to the Jaws poster where the Pink Panther's under Clouseau and its teeth is out and then chases him. And that was a nice reference. Because by the point Jaws had just come out, because Jaws was 75, this came out in 76. So it might have been the first movie to reference Jaws, for all I know. And it's directed by Blake Edwards, who did a lot of these movies. He did other films too, Skin Deep with John Ritter, which I haven't seen yet. He did a film I reviewed that I didn't mind called Switch, with Jimmy Smits and Ellen Barkin, I believe. Which I reviewed that film, I didn't mind Switch. But yeah, I mean, if you like old school comedies, if you like Peter Sellers, if you want to see something different from comedies today, which is just all about raunchy and how much cum do we have and how many times did that guy puke, and I mean, it's better than some of the comedies. I mean, one of the requests I got recently is Playing with Fire. This is a hell lot better than comedy like Playing with Fire with John fucking Wiener Cena. So this film, I can appreciate on that aspect at the very least. But like I said, Peter Sellers did a good job. The assassin bit was a fun idea. Again, just confused as to whether they purposely was. If it's all meant to be accidental, I think that could have been done differently. I don't know really what else to say. I mean, the music, of course, that classic. That's a classic piece of music. That's music I heard well before even knowing about these movies. So it definitely hit a chord out there in the pop culture stratosphere. And I said, not a bad movie at all. For what it is, it's fairly fun. I can't really give you reasons to why I didn't love it. It's just like one of those films like, not too bad. Sometimes it's just how it is. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.